Well, I remember when I first read the script. Actually, I read a breakdown in my agent's office, and I went, wait, this is me. I have to do this. I mean, this is a perfect part for me. And it was that first and maybe only time since then that I really thought that. And I don't think that happens very often where it feels like a perfect fit. And so then I went in. I think my first thing was a dance audition. And you had to bring in your own music, so I brought in a little cassette of the Jackson 5, like I Want You Back or something. And I was probably wearing leg warmers because, it was the 80s. I stuck that tape in, and it was at this place on Broadway in like 41st Street. And I remember going up there and being so scared, and all these people in the hall, and putting my tape in and just kind of like freaking out dance-wise. Just like I don't even know what I did. My body just like was out of control. It was just dancing the way I danced when I was totally free. But I was in a very unfree environment, and I just was like access some kind of spirit. And I think that's when it happened. I felt it. I felt like, oh, I nailed it. I just knew that was part of what this girl's journey was about. It was about just like a natural feeling, and as opposed to a trained dancer. And even though I'd had a lot of dance training that enabled me to kind of get in touch with that or really know how to do that stuff, it was more of a feeling than dance steps. Like I didn't have any choreography at all. I just literally just lost it, and I knew it went really well, and I think I had to do a couple of scenes. And then I think I had another call back where I had to dance with different dancers, different actors. But there were some were just dancers who were trying to act, and there were some actors who were trying to dance. And it was, I remember Billy Zane was one of my dance partners. I thought he was going to get it, actually, because he was very like Brando. He was very had this really kind of sexual Brando thing. And his dancing was pretty good, but it wasn't. And then I danced with this other guy who was more of a dancer, and he was kind of whipping me around and throwing me around because it was really about making themselves look good, kind of like a rag doll at the end of their arm. And then there was Patrick, and when we had done Red Dawn together, so we had known each other quite well, and I remember us dancing together, and it was just all of a sudden very easy. I was a good girl at home, in high school, and growing up. I was really, really good. And I had this whole double life as a teenager, where I'd go to Studio 54 every night with my boyfriend, and had this very kind of secretive, dark life, rebellious. And I needed to do that because I was deeply attached to my parents. So without that, I'd probably still be living with them today instead of having my own family. But I think it's part of, any breaking away, which is a lot of what the story was about, was, breaking away from your family of origin and individuating. And I think that's what I did before I did Dirty Dancing. I did it at Studio 54. It was a huge deal. I mean, I knew that I would have to, carry the picture with somebody else. I knew that it was a whole other world. But it was before any independent movies were ever seen by anybody. So there was really no chance of anyone seeing this movie. It was more of like an exercise. Like, oh, you see what it'll be like to be a lead, but no one will ever see this movie because it was a movie that was being made for nothing in a time when there were no movies being made for nothing. So it was maybe also going to be a little like blue, it felt. Like a little like maybe my parents, I wouldn't want them to see this movie. I couldn't tell what the movie was. I didn't have a sense of if it was going to be really dirty and I was going to be like a pawn in this kind of weird softcore porn movie, or if it was going to be like a weird, like, I didn't know what it was, because it wasn't, there'd been Flashdance, and I'd almost gotten Flashdance. I think I had screen tested maybe 8 or 10 times for it. It was very